Well, good evening and welcome to Super League Raw Weekly. It's the 18th of June. Round 14's been and gone, and it's nostalgic because it's just me and Greg. Oh, it's been a while, sir. It's been a while.
It's been a long time since just me and thee, mate.
Oh,
a very long time.
The past 4 years, it's like being Doctor Who and going back in time. Outstanding stuff. This is where it all began, ladies and gentlemen. For you people who are a bit late to the party, this is the good old days. Of course, we are missing Joel. We send our best wishes to Joel. At the moment, and of course, Mr. Sale is still finding his way back from the south of France. Luckily for him, he's got Mrs. Sale with him, so he should make it back in one piece. Right then,
like Dick Dastardly trying to get here in time.
Wacky races, love it. Right, as we say every single week, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Get in there right now. Get your comments in the chat. We'll give you your shout outs, and make sure you share right now. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, whatever you're watching on, please share that we are live and invite your friends and people who follow you to follow us, because as a community, we're growing all the time. Not for long, I'm en route, says Steph. He's watching in the car. Good lad. That's
better be careful what we say then.
Absolutely. Peter Mason all the way from Belarus. Craig Rigby's with us, Danny Armand's with us, Robert Hickson's with us, Bonjour, everyone says Alan Clegg, Dawn Baker's with us as well, the Callum Calver, they're all there. Keep letting us know that you're watching us. Let's get into some merriment that is, of course, Super League Raw on a Tuesday night. Right then, Greg, let's get straight into it. A few things that have caught the eye and announced. Frankly, not good enough. Mr. Pele has packed his bags at Hull FC. He's gone. Not worked out this one. This has been a shocker for the black and whites, hasn't it?
It has, just as he seemed to be getting back on board as well. A great win against Leeds at the weekend.
Yeah.
And Tony Smith hinted at this in his when he was a pundit on Saturday, or I think it was just afterwards, when he said, and how true this is, I don't know. And again, not meaning to be disrespectful, but saying a lot of players don't like to settle in Hull. They don't want to live in Hull. And for Pele, I think he had a real rocky start to his Super League career. We know the tale of the tape on that one. And yeah, it's a shame for Hull because they just seem to have steadied the ship. And, he's said Arrivederci.
Indeed, he has. He's out of there. And yeah, you're right. I mean, one yellow card, one red in eight. He only made 8 appearances out of the 14 rounds for them. And to be fair, for a man of his size, he averaged well less than 100 meters a carry. Don't get me wrong, he averaged 9.7 meters a carry, but less than 100 a game is what I mean. Just the one try in his time. We're massive fans of Tony Smith, but if Tony had his fingerprints on that signing, it wasn't a good one, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And I think the Hull fans will be very, very disappointed in that. What's what you laughing at?
Oh, Phil Webster, good evening to Phil. Simon Griggs thinks FC can make top 6 and he's currently having a HIA. Oh, Phil's right, bang at it there. Good evening to you, Phil. Welcome to Super League.
Dan Collier makes a good point as well, saying Hull KR don't have a problem attracting players. But there's a Hull KR have got a beach outside the stadium, so it's just like Bondi.
Well, I mean, look, the bottom line is, you see this. Yes, the further north you go in the British Isles, yes, people who come from Australia, they want to be near the capital. Manchester supposedly probably a bit of a pull now. Leeds is a really good city, but yeah, the further north you go, the tougher it is, and I think that's been well known all the time. Ian Rispin, Mike Brown, Ian Sugden. This is the podcast I keep telling you about. Craig Forth has shared Super League Raw Weekly. There you go. Good lad, Craig. I want to see more of that in the chat. Craig, sir, I salute you. Well done. That's what we're talking about, my friend. That is what we are talking about. Going from Pele to Penne, there's the pasta man at Lee Leopards. Will he make an appearance at Headingley at the weekend?
Well, probably Steph would be the one to tell us about this, but it'd be interesting. Maybe he'll fill us in when he arrives. Very, 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 very interesting to see if he does. Personally, I might think it's a game too soon.
Mm-hmm.
He might wait for the week after. Be certainly interesting to see. He may well appear on the bench.
He may well.
I think he probably will come off the bench if he's going to play. I can't see him starting.
It's going to be interesting to see how he settles in. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Lee Leopards fans, will be getting very excited over his acquisition. Let's go there. We've got to go there. We spoke about this as part of the Final Whistle podcast. If you haven't listened to that yet on as a podcast, Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, of course, then you've got another thing to listen to this week. Make sure you listen to that on your way to work tomorrow morning. Just go and download the podcast. We discussed all things round number 14, and we did speak about the record breaker, the legend that is Sir Ryan Hall. Couldn't happen to a nicer fella. Had he not had his 2 years in Australia at the Roosters, that didn't really pan out for Ryan. Had he have stayed, you could probably put at least another 30 tries on that, I would have thought, in Super League. He has been absolutely incredible, Greg. And, you weren't on the Final Whistle this week, so I'm going to say to you what I said to the lads. At 36 years of age, Masters goes through, and Ryan Hall goes coast to coast, and very, very nearly gets him. I mean, at 36, you'd have forgiven the man for, getting up and getting out of deck chair at that point, smoking a cheroot.
yeah, you would. But the guy shows nothing but 100% commitment whenever he plays, and has played through the pain barrier on many an occasion. As Bazza says, he is a machine.
Yeah,
he's like the Terminator. He doesn't seem to tire.
No,
and he's kind of in the twilight of his career now. But I'm glad he's got the record. I'm glad he's broken it. Like you say, if he hadn't had the 2 years, he probably could have retired 2 seasons ago and put his feet up and smoked that cheroot.
Absolutely.
But, will he retire at the end of this season now? Will he go, as all good players do, and go to Catalan to retire? I don't know.
No, we'll have to wait and see. Well, he's going to stay at Leeds, isn't he? And he's going to see how his career go on with the coaching staff. Callum Calvert, as a Super League More member, Craig has set the standard. Get sharing, my friend. Get sharing. Trudy Crowell, good evening to you. I say him again. Get sharing Super League Raw Weekly to your friends right now on Facebook. And Bazza Kingston, good to see you. Do the same. Right, okay. We've got to go there. I mentioned this as part of Super League Raw at the Final Whistle. Where's Paul Vaughan? I mean, this might seem pretty harsh, but, Paul Vaughan, this moment in time, last year he was doing 100 metres for fun. He's not done 100 metres since London away, where he did over 200. He's averaging around 60 a game, which is well, actually, a little bit higher than that, around about 70. But that's well off where he was in 2023. Warrington now, for me, this is a crossroads moment. It really, really is. Hull FC, good win at the weekend. They'll be wanting to back that up against Warrington. When we get to the preview later, the odds are a bit closer than you'd actually think that they were. FC played really well in that game. They've been growing. Massive game for Warrington at the weekend. Is Paul Vaughan an indication of where Warrington are at the moment? Because Vaughan last year was dream team and a superstar. This year, dare I say it, being left behind by other prop forwards.
It would certainly seem that way, wouldn't it? And kind of this season, I'm not saying it's a mirror image of last season. After the great start we've had a much better start, but markedly, I think we're 2 points down on where we were this time last year. Is it a case of he's not at full fitness, which he might not be? I doubt that, because I think Sam Burgess is a coach who will not play as if they're not. It will not play players if they're not 100%. Have other teams worked out how to stop him? Quite possibly. There's been disruption to the team with resting players the week before Wembley. There's been the obvious crushing disappointment of Wembley. I mean, I think he said that himself.
Yeah,
that he was crushingly disappointed. Salford were brilliant on Friday night.
Absolutely.
They I think that in the first half they had three. They were in our half 4 times and scored 3 tries.
Yeah,
and a drop goal. That's all they need. That's all they needed to do. They soaked up the pressure. And it's maybe a case of coaches have worked out to close down Paul Vaughan and how to close him down.
Well, Chris Young there in the chat said he'd be more concerned about Duffy paying 0 attention in the game, i.e. McDonald's try. You're right. I mean, at times, we saw it at Catalan as well, the Johnson try. At times, he just doesn't seem to fancy big lads getting through. That seems to be a bit of a problem for him. Apologies for the dog in the back. I'll go and shoot it in a minute. Actually, I won't. There were no animals harmed as a part of Super League Raw. But yeah, I mean, look, the bottom line is Warrington, this is a big, big weekend for them. Of course, yeah, Steve Cartley makes a good point. Warrington have entered the fray for Reece Martin. He is expected to go to Lee, but that's been rumoured. Reece Martin to Warrington with the departure of Nicholson. I must admit, for his goal kicking alone, that would be an incredible acquisition if Warrington could get that one over the line. But it would stun the likes of Holroyd, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be if I didn't think that Sam Burgess, again, isn't that kind of coach that he's looking to promote youth.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, Adam Holroyd, how he didn't get the whole man of the match on Friday night is beyond me. The guy was
outrageous,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was.
He was getting a lot of pelters, and these people just don't. Anybody criticizing Adam Holroyd on Friday,
agreed.
We're not watching the game.
Agreed. It was a tackling machine, mate.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would certainly. I would certainly give Holroyd his head if Nicholson is going. I know Sean Wayne's told him to hang fire.
Yeah, that was interesting, Sean. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, was you surprised? I mean, it's very rare you hear Sean Wayne come out
interfere. Interfere, Sean Wayne interfered.
He interfered, and as the England coach as well, that should have a bit of weight, you'd think. You know, I was quite surprised by Sean Wayne coming out and saying that, and I would presume he'd have the same advice for Junior Insemba and other people like that may also be being courted.
Yeah, you know, I personally think it's 2 or 3 from a selfish point of view as well as a Matty Nicholson point of view. I think it's probably 2 or 3 years too soon for Matty Nicholson. Don't blame the lad at all. A 21-year-old lad going to live in Australia to play rugby league. That's the dream. Yeah. But yeah, Sean Wayne has said, has that put a bit of doubt in Nicholson's head? Has it been? I think he is going to Canberra if he's going, isn't he?
Yeah. But Will Price, where's Will Price? Do you know what I mean? Where's Will Price? You know, Will Price has gone down under. He hasn't had a sniff. I mean, all credit to Kai Pearce-Paul, all credit to Smithies, especially. He's been outstanding. But you know, you need to look at that because, yes, if they go over there and they hit the first team, will they develop? Of course they will. But if they go over there and become the forgotten man, that's a year of the career gone. I mean, and I agree with you. I think, you know, for a player like Nicholson, probably Insemba as well at his age, to stay over here, to really build. You know, I mean, in Insemba's case, he's already got an incredible reputation. But if he stays at Wigan for maybe 3, maybe 4 years, by the time he makes that transition, because he will at some point, I think that's obvious, his reputation will go before him. And you know, he will not be going over there as a possibility. He'll be going over there as a starting 11 or 12.
Yeah, and you know, Dave Brunton makes a good point in the chat that Warrington have tried to buy trophies, and you're 100% right.
Yeah,
and we've seen Saints, we've seen Leeds, we've seen Wigan. You know, I was fortunate enough to work with some of the Wigan youngsters who've had first team experience this week in work, and they're bringing some great kids through. The teams that have won trophies, possibly with the exception of Bradford, have always, and Bradford had some young kids coming through, have always promoted from within and built that culture. And you know, Dave hits the nail on the head there. It's about time we do have some patience, and we build a team from youth.
Mate, Kai Taylor-Ray in the reserves for Salford at the weekend yet again. I mean, that lad's got bags of talent.
I would be tempted to give Dufty a week off and put Taylor-Ray in. I really would after Friday's performance.
We will see. Right, okay. Here we go. Bazza Kingston is officially a member. Go on, lad. That's what we're talking about, Bazza. That's what we're talking about. We'll talk about the membership a little bit later on. What we are going to talk about is what's right up there in that QR code tomorrow night. 8 p.m, the third Super League Raw quiz. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 80-odd of you that I can see anyway, and there's probably more than that I'm not seeing. The bottom line is this is tomorrow night, the Super League Raw quiz. There is £50 worth, £50 worth of England Rugby League merchandise up for grabs for the one who comes first. It's a multiple choice quiz. You've got a chance. The tickets are available right now on Eventbrite. In the description of what you're watching now is a link. And the tickets, ladies and gentlemen, are only £2 £2.50. £2.50 for a quiz night. Get your beer, get your phone. You'll need a device to watch it. You'll need your phone to play it. It's a multiple choice quiz. And if you come out on top for £2.50, you're going to walk away with £50 worth of quality England Rugby League merchandise that you can wear over the international weekend. You don't want to miss it. Greg, this is the third one. You've been to the first two. It brings the community together. It's a good
brilliant.
It tests the knowledge. It's a good giggle, isn't it?
Oh, I've loved the first two. I snatched defeat from the jaws of victory last time around.
You did.
So revenge will be mine at some point in the near future. But
Absolutely.
yeah, brilliant. And you know what? It does test your knowledge, but it's real good fun, and you get multiple choice. And once you realise you have to press the send button, like I didn't for the first quiz, then your quid's in.
Happy days. Look, ladies and gentlemen, you want to come. If you're doing nothing tomorrow night, I mean, Craig Rigby, one of our members, he drags the missus along. He had her on the city. He was going 2 for 1 last time around. He didn't win, but it was a good effort. And, that's what it's all about. Get a vino, get a beer, bit of rugby league trivia, have a bit of banter and a laugh with a, like-minded rugby league enthusiast for £2.50. I mean, you just can't buy entertainment like that. If you go a pub quiz in the pub, you pay more than that. And this has got a £50 Rugby League bundle of merchandise for England Rugby League just before the international weekend. And there you go, Craig, straight away in the chat on, hang on a second, here he comes, in the chat on YouTube. The quiz is more than that. It's a family event. Couldn't agree you more. We have kids on it as well. It's a right good giggle. Get in the comments right now. There's the link, £2.50. Get your tickets. And actually there's a few in there where you can get 2 for 1. So not only that, for £2.50, you can get your own ticket and bring a friend as well, and they can play. So do it. Dawn Kirkbest, she won the first one. There she is. Quiz night is a right good night, and I'm sure Dawn is ready for tomorrow night. She's got her fastest finger first.
She's got a Malibu and Coke ready as we speak.
The get-go. Right, okay, that's about as big of the plug that I'm going to give it. There it is again. That's what's up for grabs. Make sure you join us tomorrow night. It just wouldn't be the same without you. It's going to be a great, great night. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at the top performers of round number 14.
Here are your top performers from round number 14 of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorer with a hat-trick in the blink of an eye was Darryl Clark of St Helens. The most try assists came from Moses Mbai, Jack Wellsby, Mikey Lewis and James Bell, each with 2. The top meter maker in round 14 was Matt Duffy of the Warrington Wolves with 293. Whilst the top tackle buster was Tim Lafay of Salford Red Devils with 15. Bevan French and Hakeem Aludi each got 10. The most clean breaks with 2 apiece came from Liam Marshall, Harry Newman, Jack Wellsby, Ethan Ryan and Luke Thompson. The most offloads came from Ben Garcia of the Catalan Dragons with 5. Whilst the top hard meter maker of the round goes to Michael Jaletsky of the Leeds Rhinos with 198. The top tackler was Sam Stone of Salford Red Devils with 52. Credit to Javon O'Connor with 49 and Ben Garcia with 47. And the top goal kicker of the round was Mark Percival of St Helens with 8 against the London Broncos. Those were your top performers from round number 14 of the Betfred Super League.
Some stunning performances there in round 14, and these were the results. The Robins beating the Giants 32 points to 6. We'll go through these in a minute, myself and Reggie. Very, very high level, just to get the thoughts of the big man before we move forward. But yeah, Robins 32, Giants 6. Great win, that one for the Robins. Then, of course, the Wolves going down to a very impressive Salford Red Devils. They did it again. Warrington's bogey team. They know how to win against the wire. Do the Salford Red Devils. Then the Tigers, really, really good showing from them against the Wigan Warriors, only losing out by 2. That yellow card to Kane Robb, decisive really in that game. Hull FC 18, the Rhinos 10, a second win of the season for Hull FC. Brilliant performances in that game. The Dragons have only scored 4 in 2 games against the Leopards. The Leopards winning 10 points to 2. The Dragons continue to struggle. And then finally, the Saints expectedly beat London, albeit that's a very handsome score indeed. 52 points to 6. A hat-trick in there for Daz Clark. Right then, Greg. I mean, we'll start with that Robins performance. I said on Final Whistle, it might have been in Final Whistle, it might have been on In the Sheds. It's all a blur. I do that much at the minute. But I'll ask you this question. Is there a better team in attacking phases from about the halfway line out than Hull KR this season?
Not at this moment in time. No. Yeah, I mean, Mikey Lewis, they've got an absolute little diamond there, and he's orchestrating more and more as the season's gone on. We've seen Mikey Lewis grow into the player that he's become at this moment. He has the odd, he has the odd moment where his concentration drops or he lets his emotions get the better of him. Those moments becoming fewer. But no, I think Hull KR could very well trouble the top teams this season. I really do. You mean they're right up there now.
Yeah.
And barring some injuries or a dramatic loss of form, I think they're going to cause a bit of chaos in the playoffs. And it'd be good to see, to be honest.
Nobody wants to go Craven Park in the playoffs.
No, I'm glad we went when we did.
And I'll go as far as to say that includes the top two, Saints and Wigan as well.
Well, I guess.
Do you know what I mean? If miraculously one of them fell out the top two, the last place they want to go in that decisive playoff will be Craven Park.
Well, I think I was talking about Wigan at my daughter's training the other night. They're Wigan fans, and I really do think that Wigan have to be beaten before they get to the grand final.
So yeah, and in the sheds, how do you like Haribo's? I like mine fantastic. Kalepi Tangino.
I saw that. I had a giggle at that. But I think the only thing that will stop Wigan is if they come up against somebody like Hull KR in the playoffs. And if Hull KR are on song, Jay Field is out for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I think somebody said it's about 8 weeks.
Yeah, I've heard it could be August. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that is, he might have to. Wigan may well, another couple of injuries, may well have dropped out that top two by that point. Top two, top three.
Yeah.
It just does, and I don't wish it on anybody, on any team, because as we said at Wembley, we want to see the best players up against one another.
Yeah.
But it does, an injury to Bevan French, an injury to, to whoever else, and Wigan could quite easily see themselves falling down that ladder.
In the backs,
and the same as Saints as well.
Yeah, I think Wigan are susceptible in the backs. Forwards, they've got plenty of power.
Yeah, plenty of power, yeah.
I mean, Bazza there, he's on about the emotion of Ollie going over, incredible, yeah. And also Bazza saying about Tyrone May, I completely agree with him. I thought the first 20 minutes, Tyrone May couldn't pass a ball to his own player to save his life. But let's just bask in the glory. What a try. For all the world, Batchelor's going to go back inside, and then he bangs it back outside to a waiting Tyrone May, and in you go as a thing of absolute poetry.
Yeah. Oh, he scored me some points in my fantasy league team this week, Tyrone May. I think he got me about 80 points, so I'm quite happy with the lad. I tell you, and I needed that this week.
It's a long time ago. Petter Hicker at fullback, he's absolutely ripping it up at centre, isn't he?
He was a centre when he came to Warrington in 2017. He was a class apart, and it was galling that he decided it wasn't for him. And people criticised Hull KR for signing him. I think he's been one of the signings of the season. He is a centre all day long. Yeah, he really is.
He has been class. Right, let's quickly move through it. I mean, Casford Tigers against Wigan, really spirited, 10-8, good effort this. Kane Rob, I have to say, Kane Rob against Hull FC, he was going up against them and SASA, and he didn't take a backward step against the Wigan pack either. But that 10 minutes that he got was decisive. They went ahead, didn't they? 8 points to 4. They got a conversion. But of course, before he's due back on the field, over goes Marshall. Another brace for Marshall in great form.
Yeah.
It was another almost for Casford against Wigan, but Wigan just get the job done, don't they?
That's what Wigan do. Talking to the kids, the young players yesterday. It's what Wigan do. They know how to do it. But I expected Wigan to have won that quite comfortably. And might have been a little bit disrespectful to Casford in that way, but fair play to Casford. If only they could just have hung on or turn some of that pressure into points towards the end, that would have been it would have been good for the league, I think.
Well, people talk about the standard in. I mean, Gary Evanson said it in the press conference with Ian Blease how close this competition is, and Casford prove it. They go up against Wigan, and you can say Wigan were off. Let's give some bit of credit to Casford as well. Nobody expected Casford Tigers to be in with a sniff of winning, let alone lose by 2. I think everybody had Wigan over the doing an old Dorothy over the rainbow and far away. And it just didn't happen. And I mean, at times we've got to give credit to Casford. Dawn there saying she's not a Hampshire fan. Clearly she doesn't want a Christmas card off Ryan Hampshire, doesn't our Dawn?
I agree with her, though. I would play Jack Farrimond. Jack was one of the players I met yesterday. Lovely lad.
Jack Furman, mate, is a player.
I would love to see him at Warrington.
But where's he going to play?
Well,
you got Leon Hayes, mate. I mean,
Leo. Well, he's a nice backup for Drinkwater at this moment in time.
Well, right now, but then next season, you've got Hayes coming back. You've got, Williams is going nowhere. So I just think, for me, I mean, look, I agree with you. Hampshire. I put the kid in, and I'm surprised actually with Matt Pete, because let's be fair, Pete, he's shown it with Eckersley. But for whatever reason, he showed a bit of loyalty to Hampshire. Hampshire's played a couple of times this year. Had a half-decent game against London, but it was London. But I agree. The bits I've seen of Ferryman in the reserves, I think he's worth a shot for him.
I'll give him a go. Definitely give Jack Ferryman a go.
I agree.
You're going back to Warrington. He's probably got more chance of breaking into the Warrington first team than the Wigan one at the minute.
Well, speaking of Warrington, let's go to Warrington. Warrington 25-14 lost to Salford Red Devils. Salford Red Devils, I mean, let's be absolutely honest about this. They were quality right across the park. I think as a team, as a unit, I thought the back row forwards. I mean, it was. I would go as far as to say that was the best I've seen Callum Watkins in 2024. I thought he was really good. Sam Stone was good in the back row. Dion Cross was quality on the edges. Two centres of class.
McDonald and Laffey.
Just unplayable.
You'd die for a pair of centres as good as that in your team. We dominated the opening exchanges, and then they got a couple of breakaway tries. Yeah. And we couldn't get back into it. They defended superbly. Yeah. What I would have done after that, that non-attempted tackle by Dufty, two in the first half, I would have been tempted to drop Thewlis or Ratchford back to full back and put Dufty in the halves, to be honest.
You've had a job. Thewlis wasn't playing.
Sorry, he wasn't, was he? Yeah. I watched most of it with my eyes closed, to be honest. Yeah, I'd have dropped Ratchford to full back and put Dufty in the halves. There's been a few that, as again, Stephen Cartley says, Warrington's structure looked dreadful. We've messed the team around in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
It was working well. It was working smoothly. I understand why Burgess dropped so many players before the final. Obviously, it didn't work. We again had people missing, like Williams and apparently Thewlis wasn't playing. We had Wrench on the wing. I think Wrench needs to go out on loan to get up to speed. To be honest.
Yeah.
We shuffled a few positions about. It wasn't good. It wasn't, but that's not an excuse, because Salford was superb and thoroughly deserved the win.
Well, what I would say is,
deserved the win.
I think a few of the kids might get a call up this weekend. I would say that. I think Lindop might be in with a shout, I have to say. And I'll tell you what, Kai Taylor, you might be right. I mean, he was very good indeed again. Really, really good again.
I think it might be the kick up the bum that Dufty needs to say, look, mate.
Yeah.
You're not irreplaceable. We're going to put Taylor A in.
Yeah.
I'd certainly play Aaron Lindop. Certainly.
Yeah. And Holroyd.
And Holroyd.
Holroyd's been class. Yeah.
Those three have not disgraced themselves when they played for Warrington this season.
No. Andy, mate, we agree. I mean, Reece Martin coming in for goal kicking, but you bring Martin in, that stunts Holroyd, and it does. I think he's only 31 though, Reece Martin. So he's still got a good few seasons in his legs. Right. We've already talked about OKR, not really much more to say other than Huddersfield again, mate. In the arm wrestle for 30 minutes. And then, but once OKR got ahead in that game, you never felt for one moment that Huddersfield were going to come back and do anything, did you?
No, and they've got some really good players, Huddersfield, and it's a mystery.
Yeah.
It's a mystery as to why they are performing like they are. They get to a Challenge Cup semi-final. But, it's a mystery to me.
It is. It is. We'll keep on at a pace. Got lots to get through, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to Joe Dalgreen. He's another Super League Raw member. Good lad. Oh, they're all rocking in. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Come on. We've already had the standard. Craig set the standard earlier in the show. Get your mates knowing that you're watching Super League Raw Weekly. And for those of you who would consider becoming a member, a bit more information on that a little bit later in the show. Right, we now go to the MKM Stadium. 18 points to 10. A magnificent win. We said last week, none of us backed Hull FC. We all thought Leeds would actually get over the line. But we've been saying for the last 2 or 3 weeks, SASA, Truman, they've been getting slowly but surely stronger. Moyes not letting him go at full back. Truman was back to a reasonable standard. I don't think he was man of the match personally, but, he was back to a decent standard. SASA doing what he done. And Deneve Balmforth, take a bow, son.
Yes. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, what a performance.
First half especially.
I think there's trouble in the camp at Leeds. I think that's probably not a very well kept secret.
He's kept his job though. I can't see any change between now and Friday, mate.
No. It might be international weekend when something happens.
He needs a big performance against Lee at the weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. But
he does. He does. But the thing is, it's the I sound like a broken record. But it'd be typical of Leeds to finish in the top 6 and get to the grand final.
I don't see that this year.
I don't, but it'd be typical of them to do it because it's what they do.
Well, actually, I did say, if somebody did take over from Rowan Smith, could they do what Rowan Smith did when he came in, which was galvanise them, getting them on a short-term turnaround and off they go. So,
that impetus. As Lee says, Leeds are poor. Yeah. But countless seasons over the past 10, 15 years, they've been poor up until July.
Yeah.
And then strung a series of results together and gone and won the grand final.
Yeah.
Dawn says not this year, but...
Well, she's actually shouting at you, not this year. She's actually shouting at you there, is Dawn. She's not having any of that.
Put some more coke in your Malibu, Dawn.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, great win. Great win for Hull FC. Delighted. And I'm really pleased for Simon Griggs. I think, again, we talked about how Mike Eccles has been, for London. And I'll go as far to say the same for Griggs. I think Griggs has been exemplary since Tony Smith has left. And I was really pleased for him. On the topic of Tony Smith, though, a bit spiky over Richie Myler, wasn't it?
Do you think they've had a lover's tiff?
I used to get on really well with Richie. Interesting. Absolute comedy gold. I thought, I hope, dearie me, which team he's on. But anyway, that's
Helen.
Yeah, he always had a good relationship with the wife. Anyway, Dragons against the Leopards. We'll come to that one in a minute. Saints 52, London 6. Bottom line now, look, I'm just going to do a preemptor for Team of the Week. Just be mindful, ladies and gentlemen. Saints played London. Just be mindful of that is all I would say.
According to the Saints fans, Daz Clark is the greatest hooker ever to play the game.
Yeah, but hang on. And I'm going to say, I think Daz Clark is a wilder player. I know he's a wilder player. He's incredible from dummy half, but let's call it as it is. I could have scored them 3. The job had been done by the time Clarkey got the ball.
Mate, I'd have got 4 from
James Bell, mate, in that phase of play was just, he was having a field day. So, he scored 3, but don't let the stat of 3 tries fool you. I mean, like I say, in fact, I go as far as saying, I think even my dad could have scored them, and he's like, however old my dad is. 74, something like that. He is 74, actually. But there you go. Anyway, we move swiftly on. Right, okay, he's here by popular demand. He's back in the room. Mr. Sale has just landed from Perpignan, and there he is. Hey, Steph Sale is with us. Good evening to Steph. So, Steph, 10 points to 2. The game is the game. Amone was outstanding, but, brilliant. The 1,800 people were over there from the Lee Leopards. They have shown what the rest can do. But I will ask you this, because you're probably not read it yet. Martin Sadler today in League Express, Steph, said that perhaps, they were talking about the French teams and their impact on Super League. It's a pretty good article, actually. It's an interesting debate. Let's have a quick debate about it. And what he said was the fact that more and more supporters like your good self see Catalan as a big weekend away, is that affecting away crowds in the UK. Is that affecting Challenge Cup finals? Is that affecting Magic Weekend attendances? Because people are putting a little bit more money away because they want to go and experience Perpignan. What's your thoughts on that?
I actually did read the article. I read it this morning just before I travelled to the airport. It was very interesting. I kind of get his point on it in terms of, it is an expensive weekend away, but what a weekend away it is, so it's a difficult one for me because I'm the biggest advocate of going to Catalan. I absolutely love it. It's the best place ever to go and watch rugby. But I do get his point in terms of if you're going to prioritise a weekend away with your family, what do you do? Do you go to Perpignan? Do you go to the Challenge Cup? And it is one worth discussing. But for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Having literally landed about an hour ago, it's such a brilliant place. I absolutely love it. And it's the first time I've ever seen us win there as well, which made it even more special for me.
Absolutely fantastic. And
you know what? It is a good point though, Dave.
Go on, mate.
Because if you're in Super League, you're guaranteed a weekend, at least one weekend in Perpignan.
Yeah,
you're guaranteed a weekend wherever wherever Magic Weekend is.
Yeah,
you're not guaranteed a weekend at Wembley. So it's an absolute. I think he could have well hit the nail on the head. That we spoke about this at length the other week after Wembley, didn't we? Why were attendances down? And that was probably something we didn't kind of factor in the Perpignan effects and the Magic Weekend effect, where we are guaranteed that our teams will play there at some point in the season. Whereas Wembley, you're not guaranteed. So you're not budgeting for it.
No, absolutely.
People went a few years ago because it was the highlight going to London, going to Wembley.
Yeah.
So, he's made a very, very good point.
It's an interesting point. It has to be said. It is an interesting point. It'll run that one, I think. Like I say, I don't always agree with what Mr. Sadler says. Sometimes I think it's a little bit far out. But fair play to him on this occasion. Right, let's get into it. We're moments away from looking ahead to round number 15. But as always, we've come to that time of the show where we're going to have a little look at the Super League Raw team of the week. Before we do, this was the one that was picked officially by Super League. Interesting is what I would say. Interesting. So just cast your eye over that one. That is who they went with this week. Of course, we leave nothing to chance. We take everything into account. Statistics, what we see with the naked eye, more importantly, as well as the stats. And we don't go off names, as you know. We go off performances and their impact on a game. So with that said, let's see how that compares with our team of the week. Is proudly sponsored by the Good Estate Agent. Join the Rugby League community in trusting Stefan and his team when you are buying, letting or selling property.
It's the Super League Raw team of the week for round number 14 with the Good Estate Agent for 2024. Here we go again at a fullback. Well, no one wipes their feet on this mat. Instead, he wipes his all over the competition. Matt Moylan was preferred at fullback, and you can see why. A calm and an assured performance, which was pivotal to a great win for the Leopards in Perpignan at 2. Well, Warrington's showing was close to a naught, as the cross in the shape of Dion was quite simply superb. A wonderful brace, combined with strong defence and brave carries, was the eye-catching performance that gets our vote this week. At 3 is once more Petter Hiku of Hull KR. What a signing and what a player this man is. His 3rd selection of the season. Petter is building nicely towards a dream team shirt at the end of the season. At 4 is the tackle-busting king of Super League in the form of the colossal Tim Lafay. To all you architects out there, if you are looking to design a structure that can stand up to the toughest test, then why not build the Empire Lafay building in tribute to this rugby league god. At 5 is the record-breaking Ryan Hall on an emotional night. It was not the record that was celebrated by Super League Raw, oh no, but it was how Ryan, at the grand age of 36, keeps turning up in defence for his team. 2 try-saving tackles and a chase back against Masters that was simply majestic. At 6 is Moses Mbai, who would want to stand in for Johnny Lomax and attempt to fill his boots well. Mbai has been given the nod and he's taking the opportunity with both hands. At 7 is the Man of Steel leader Mark Sneed, who with ball in hand and the boot showed the Warrington Wolves the qualities they are missing at 7 in the absence of young Leon Hayes. By all accounts, Mark likes a bit of a brew as he watches the video with his teammates after the game. On this performance, give him his pick of biscuits as well, as just like a hobnob, he shows no weakness. At 8 is Tom Amone of the Lee Leopards. Without Mulhern, Tom did the job at 2 props versus the Dragons, and despite this ultimate test against Satai, Desiree, Bousquet and Neverett, there is only one ultimate warrior in Super League. Just ask the Befallen Dragons. At 9, it's the need bound for Full FC. Saints fans will ask, where's Davil Clark? Well, whilst Davil scored 3, he was not as influential at 9 as Deneve was at the MKM. A sensational performance from the 20-year-old has given Simon Griggs lots to ponder. Should Houghton be fit next week? Man of the match in our eyes at Super League Raw. At 10 and in defeat is Mikkel Adjulecki. He's getting somewhere back to his best now for the Leeds Rhinos, and despite that last-minute knock-on, no one did as many metres down the middle in round 14 than Mikkel Adj. Well played, sir. At 11 is Kai O'Donnell for the Lee Leopards. A defensive effort to be admired in France from the soon-to-be departing second rower. Not since Galdorf the Brave have the words "you shall not pass" been so appropriate. At 12 is Sam Walters of the Wigan Warriors. Sam has had to be patient, but at the jungle he showed the quality that Wigan acquired for this season. Should Ensemble be lured by the NRL in Sam, Wigan needn't worry too much. And finally at 13, and again in defeat, was Ben Garcia of the Catalan Dragons. Just like Sergio on the fairways, his aim and accuracy of brutal tackles was right at the pin, whilst his drives and punching power in attack was straight and true. Oh, this is your team of the week for round number 14.
So there it is, the team of the week for round number 14. We'll put it back up on the screen for you. Gentlemen, I've got to go there straight away. How Dowell Clark got the nod for hooker of the round over Deneve Balmforth at Hull FC, I will never, ever know. That's the first one I'm going for.
I agree 100%, Dave, for the reasons we've spoke about previously.
Yeah.
You know, me and you could have probably scored a hat-trick against London at that point in the game.
Yeah.
I thought Moylan, I don't know whether Steph will agree with this, but from what I've seen of Lee this season, I thought that was one of his best performances.
Yeah.
For Lee this season, especially at fullback as well.
Yeah.
I thought he was superb.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. Steph?
Yeah, no, it was interesting how, O'Brien comes back into the side, who's our fullback. Obviously, Moylan went in there to cover for O'Brien's injury, but Moylan's been a revelation at fullback for us, I think, and he's undroppable in that position, I think, at the moment.
Fair enough. Ryan Hall, people will be looking at that. Marshall and Hall in the official team. Dion Cross, for me, had a far better game than... I love Marshall, don't get me wrong, but his 2 tries were simple scores. They really were simple scores. Dion Cross, he's took a bit of scoring, to be fair.
Yeah.
Cross on the night was just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. But again, he's not flavour of the month. That's the problem. Dion, he's not box office in their eyes, so he doesn't get picked for team of the week. We pick him because he was outstanding. Yeah,
he tore us apart down that right hand side.
Yeah,
and Bay as well. I thought he was very, very good, albeit against London.
Yeah,
I thought he was very, very good and slotted in.
Yeah,
Mark Sneed he's a class apart this season. Well, he has been for a while.
Yeah,
but he seems to be getting better the older he gets. Mark Sneed,
spot on. Completely agree.
He's always been a great player, but there never seems to be any kind of slowing down with Mark Sneed. He seems to improve season on season, whatever team he plays in. It's incredible.
Spot on. A couple of our Hull FC fans saying, "Where's Moy?" I say, and Truman. Believe me, Moy did not have as good a game. He was solid, but he wasn't Moylan. And as far as SAS is concerned, I think he's been in our team of the month, team of the week so many times this season. But the bottom line is, Alecki absolutely did him. He only got 138 metres SASA. I mean, you know, Mikolaj Gillespie got nearly 200, and Tom Amon was a man mountain, an absolute man mountain against Catalan. So as much as we've been giving SASA loads of raps, when he's not the prop of the week, he's just not the prop of the week. And this week, unfortunately, he was about third or fourth. That's just the way it is. Steph, your thoughts? Any further thoughts, Greg? Steph, anyone?
No, I think like I said, there's some quality performances, and I would highlight Sneed again. He's just unbelievable this season, Sneed, and he's the reason for me that Salford are where they are in that table. He's just the catalyst that's pulling everything together for Salford.
Yeah, with you. Getting a bit of feedback off your mic, Steph. I don't know why, mate. Just letting you know. Reggie, go on.
This is suntan.
Yeah, his suntan lotion's got on the mic. Love it.
Don't smile. You dazzling us. I think Tim Lafay. I'm a massive fan of Tim Lafay. I think he's a great centre. I thought Ben Garcia was in defeat.
Incredible.
Was superb.
Incredible.
So yeah, I think you've got the balance right.
Good.
Again, Dave, you're very, very, very rarely wrong.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I'll tell you what, mate. When you got Mr. Rowley at full time at Warrington asking you, so what did you think of the game? And I started pointing out a few of the things that I'd witnessed, and he shook me by the hand and went, "Fair play to you," and just walked away. I'll take that off, Paul. I'll have that all day long. Right, let's.
Maybe you're the Salford boss when he goes to Leeds.
Well, hey, I won't go that far, but maybe, you know, like I say, I could be one of those, you know, that does the stats. As Steph says, the stat man next to Paul. Anyway, let's move on.
Radio, mate.
Yeah. Right, let's go into a bit of a laugh on the goal fault before we get into round number 15. A few right giggles in here. As good as Kane Rob was in patches against Wigan, never in a million years was he man of the match. I mean, I don't know who put that in, but that, quite frankly, was a shocker, an absolute shocker. Kane Rob, 3 points. Wigan, unbelievable. Didn't see that. Don't agree with that. Coming to your game, Steph, Lachlan Lamb too. Not for me.
No, I think there was a lot better league players than Lockie. Tom Amon, Moylan, Gaz O'Brien. I thought was standing defensively more than anything in our game. He was right up there for me.
Didn't do much, but what he did do was effective. Is what I'd say about Gaz O'Brien in that game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was key moments of the game. One person who did get a point and I sort of see why. We mentioned him on Final Whistle. Sylvester Namo got a point for Casford. And do you know what? I sort of see that. He had some really good runs against what is a quality pack in Wigan. So do you know what? I sort of see how he would have caught the eye. I sort of get that. Some other belters in here, though, lads. I mean, there really, really is. Mickey McAlorum got a point in your game, Steph, on the goal fault, mate.
No, it's...
Mickey McAlorum was too intent on trying to kill somebody than play rugby league on. He had one of those moods on him on Saturday. Yeah. He wanted to hurt somebody rather than play rugby, Mickey McAlorum. And he does sometimes get that head on him where he wants to do that. He usually gets a yellow or a red card.
Do you know what? She knows how to schmooze, does Nicola Burtonwood? Look at those two kisses. I've got one. You can fight over the other. Right? Okay. Let's get into this one because this one is unbelievable as well. Going back to Hull FC against Leeds, gentlemen. Yeah. Right. Jordan Lane got 3 points. Now, don't get me wrong. Jordan had a fine game, but when you consider that Deneve Balmforth didn't even get a point. Who's watching that game and not even giving a point to Deneve Balmforth?
To be honest, they probably couldn't spell his name.
Probably didn't know who it was. I bet one of them turned around and said, "I tell you what, that hair transplant that Danny Houghton's got so good, isn't it?" You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Baumgarten, isn't he the guy that jumped out the balloon at 25,000 feet?
Anyway, we always like to have a little laugh at the golf thorpe, ladies and gentlemen. You know that is our laugh at the golf thorpe for another week. Oh, the joy. Don't forget the Super League quiz nights tomorrow. Get your tickets. You want to be a part of that? Come on, Steph, do a sales pitch. How good's the quiz, mate?
Oh, it's the best night of entertainment you'll have in the next fortnight by a mile.
If you are stuck tomorrow night for something to do, go and get your tickets now. £2.49 for a good hour and a bit of entertainment. £50 of England Rugby League merchandise up for grabs. What else are you going to do on a Wednesday night? Come and join the Super League Raw family. And like Bazza Kingston, join the Super League Raw membership. If you want to join our membership, it's open now. Again, in the description is how you can do that. Great packages, affordable for all. And if you become a member, you get a free invite to the quiz. Bazza, watch your inbox. It'll come from Eventbrite to your email over the next 24 hours. You are now going to get a complimentary ticket as a member to the quiz tomorrow night. Good man, Bazza. Right, we're now going to start looking forward to the week ahead, gentlemen. Round number 15. As always, this will become the prediction show. So as we do every single week, we'll start by giving our sponsor a little bit of a tickle, and then we'll get into what will become the prediction show. But stay right with us because we're going to do it right now as a part of Super League Raw Weekly. Here is a word from our sponsor.
Love that crunch.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
So there you go, Rugby League 3/4 on Facebook. If you like a bet on Rugby League and you like to have a bit of banter and all the hackers and the odds and all the rest of it, get yourself over to Rugby League 3/4 and go and enjoy their community as well as the greatest online community of them all, Super League Raw. Right, this is where we left the league table at the end of round number 14, and the Saints and the Warriors now 22 points. The Warriors, the Wolves slipping back now. They're 2 behind the Robins, who look pretty chipper on the perch of number 3. Red Devils, of course, they're 5th. Dragons are 6th. Down there at the bottom now, a little bit of a gap between Hull FC and the Broncos. Can Hull FC back it up against the wire this week? Because these are the fixtures. The Tigers kick us off on Thursday night against the Robins. Oh, that should be a little belter. Looking forward to that one. Then the Warriors, well, they go up against the Broncos. Good luck, Mike Eccles and the men down there. That could become quite painful, I feel. The Rhinos go up against the Leopards in what is bound to be an emotional, or possibly the game of the week, because a lot is riding on that for both sides, both on and off the field, you would think. But yeah, a very emotional. Sky, well done to Sky, starting the coverage half an hour early, 7 o'clock on Friday. There's bound to be not a dry eye in the house. Make sure that you watch that one. Then Hull FC welcome the Warrington Wolves at the MKM Stadium Saturday afternoon before the Dragons take on the Giants and bringing the curtain down. Another tasty little affair as the Salford Red Devils go up against the mighty Saints. Well, there you jolly well go, gentlemen. Not a bad-looking set of fixtures, I would say. Silence is golden. Let's move on. Right, okay, we'll start doing the analysis then, shall we? Let's go to the Casford Tigers taking on Hull KR. This kicks off our weekend of joy and merriment in Super League, and they can see since 2008 it's advantage to Hull KR, 15-13. The last 5 times these two have come head-to-head, it's 4-1 in the favour of Hull KR. That's an interesting one, isn't it? There you can see the form guide. KR, 4 wins out of 5, solid. Not too bad. It's been a lot worse over the course of the season than that for Casford, but they'll be looking to bounce back at the Jungle. 3rd against 10th. There's a massive difference between them in terms of attack and defence. The odds, as you would expect, going the way of the Robins. Only Saints have scored more tries this season than KR. Saints have scored 73, KR 69. And as we know, KR love to run from deep. 79 clean breaks thus far in the 2024 season from the Robins. Right, let's get into a little bit of team news on this one. Here they come. Here it is. There it is. These are the teams they're in. Of course, it's a Thursday night game, so they've already announced the squads. 2 changes from the team that took on Wigan for Casford. You'll see there, Muraz Mustafa, he's been named in place of Sammy Kibula, and Joe Westerman is a welcome return, albeit it is at the cost of Liam Watts. James Batchelor, well, he's out because of a hamstring injury that he picked up with the win over Huddersfield. And as you can see there as well, Matt Parcell is also out for the Giants game this weekend. Joe Burgess, though, is a welcome return to the squad. And Zach Fishwick is the other man that comes in to the 21-man squad. So that's basically how they are looking. you'd have to think that fortune favours Hull KR this week. Get in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, who you think to win this one. Gentlemen, they're the squads. Let's get into a bit of a debate. Greg, I'm going to start with you. Can anybody stop the red breast getting redder at the Robins?
Well, they're wearing pink, so they may well do. I think that red breast is running the wash. No, in a word.
There's no Daz.
Tissue paper in the wash.
If only they could pick personnel. Oh, baby, there, get in. Oh, dear God. I'll surf right out of here. Go on, carry on. Go on, mate. Go on. Go on.
Disastrous, that. Disastrous.
You don't get this on other, dare I say it, Straight Lace podcast. Oh no. Only here.
You won't get Eddie and Steve-O doing this.
You wouldn't. Come on, give us some comfort. Come on. Get on with it. Right,
anyway,
go.
Like the comedians in 1971. What was I saying?
You were going to tell us about OKR taking on Casford at the Jungle and your thoughts on the game, sir.
That was right. I think Casford did really, really well against Wigan. I thought they were lucky in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Hull, like you say, like we spoke earlier about Hull KR at this point in time are a really good attacking side. I don't think Hull KR will have it all their own way, but I see a 9-17 win for Hull KR.
Okay, 9-17. Yeah. Okie dokie. Steph, how do you see this one?
Yeah, I think since Casford have brought those young lads in, they've been a different side for me. Hell of a lot more competitive, and they seem like they want to be playing for each other now, which is great to see for the competition, isn't it? It's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think that was a fantastic effort against Wigan. I know they were coming off the back of the Challenge Cup, but what an effort that was. And on that pitch, they are a dangerous team, but you just can't look past Hull KR at the moment for me in terms of how good of a team they are, especially attacking. Ryan Hall obviously getting his breaking the record at the weekend, which was fantastic to see. What a player he's been for Super League. But yeah, for me, I think it is going to be a really competitive game, but I do see Hull KR running away with it in the last 20, so I've gone 9-17 as well.
Well, Dawn Kirby, we wouldn't expect anything less from you, Dawn. She's not watching the England game. Forget the round ball. Get the oval one on. She's going to watch it at the Jungle, and rightly so. Callum Calvary's gone KR 1-8. Phil Hunt, KR 9-17 in the chat. People are still basking in the glory of some quality soap powder moments. Josh Grimes, Hull KR 1-8. Peter Mason, Hull KR 30 points to 10. Robert Hickson, KR 1-8. Rovers 8-16. Come on, Craig. I know you're new, mate, but we don't do 8-16. We do 9-17. Nicola Burtonwood does 9-17. Craig Rigby 1-8. You'll get there, Craig. You'll get there. Don't you worry about that. It's great to have your company. Joe Dalgreen 18+ KR, and I'm in a complete agreement with Joe. I think that KR are that good at the minute. Yes, they were good against Wigan. Casford, they give him a right good tussle. Can they back it up 2 in a row? I don't think they can, and I think KR are going to destroy him. And now Hawley has got that little monkey off his back where the tries are concerned. Wouldn't surprise me to see Sir Ryan Hall of Hull Kingston Rovers Shire go over for a hat-trick this weekend. It just would not surprise me one little bit. So I'm going there. Joel Scholes, he's going KR 9-17. I've not had the chance to collate. Been a mad week this week. The fans forum votes. That will be done, and I will post them on our Facebook page tomorrow. I will collate all the fans forum ones, and you'll see what the consensus of opinion has been. Albeit the consensus of the fans in the chat tonight suggests that KR will probably be where they go. Anybody else lost volume, John Wilkinson has said. Is everybody getting me loud and clear? Just give us the thumbs up. I would hope everybody's okay. You're the first to mention that, John. Hopefully not, sir. Right, okay. We move swiftly on. Where are we going next? We're in Wigan, London. Wigan, London next. Right, here it is. Wigan against London. Right. I don't think refresh the page. What you say, Callum? Don't joke, my friend. Don't joke. Right, head to head. Wigan against London. History since '96. No surprises. 32 wins to 11. Yeah, I might surprise some people actually. 11 there. Yeah. Going to London Broncos. In the last 5, 4-1. There you go. London's last win was round number 4 of the 2019 season at the Trailfinders, 18-16 in a shock result. Incredible stuff. Incredible. There's the form. Wigan 5 from 5. That win against the FC just hanging on there for London in the last 5 for the form start. Second play 12. Again, an absolute gulf in the forward against. They're not taking bets on the Wigan Warriors. Who can forget the Cherry Red Stadium early in the season where Wigan did them 60 points to 22. Jaifield out. London are expected to be without Dean Parata, Jack Campagnolo, but they think that McCarney may return for this. And as Greg reminded me before we went on air, Natoli and Kennedy are banned on this one. Oh, hey up, there you go. Debbie Ruand is we have an infiltrator trying to do dodgy streams. That's just to let everybody know, whilst Greg and Steph are talking about Wigan against London, you know exactly what's coming. You people who watch Super League Raw, she's about to leave the building. Right, over to you, Steph. You crack on, sir, while I get rid of our intruder.
Oh, it's not very often we get infiltrated, is it?
Well, I love a good infiltration.
Well, to be fair, I mean, that probably made this one a bit more interesting to talk about. I'd love to be sitting here saying, "Oh, London have got a chance." They haven't, have they? You know, it's going to be it's going to be a massacre. Wigan 18+.
Wigan 18+. Right, okie. I'm just trying to get hold of our Debbie. Carry on, Greg. You get in there.
Don't let me stop you, Dave.
Absolutely.
Has this got a potential to be the shocker of the season so far? No, not in a month of Sundays. Wigan 18+. Wigan could put their reserve side out and still win this by 18+. And again, that's no disrespect to London in any way, shape or form. The reserves are just that good.
Yeah, it's more credit to Wigan, isn't it? More credit to Wigan.
The reserves are just that good. You know, the Jack Faribons and the players like that of this world are still just that little bit better than Wigan. So, yeah, unfortunately, Wigan 18+.
And Debbie has gone. Bye, Debbie. Anyway, that's how quick it happens, I'm afraid. We don't promote dodgy streams here at Super League Raw. We have a community to look after. Not happening. Just simply not happening. Right, sorry, Greg. So we're all going Wigan by 1-8, yeah?
Not London 18+, mate. Sorry, you sound dropped out there, Dave. What did you say?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everybody's probably going there. There you go, Les. That's definitely disrespectful. To us, I would hope you were saying absolutely right. Right, okie dokie. Or maybe he was talking about how disrespectful we're being to London. I don't know. Let us know in the chat.
Being totally respectful to Wigan in the fact that their reserves are that good, they would still beat London quite handsomely.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. We're not going to prolong that one. I think it's quite straightforward. We all expect the Wigan Warriors to come through against the London Broncos. Right, we now go to potentially the game of the round. I think this is a real beauty. 7th against 9th. We said that Lee need to keep ticking off these teams that are just above them in the table to get into that top 6. This is another one of those. We know that Leeds at the moment are fragile. We know that Lee are getting into a bit more form. Steph, very briefly over the top. Is it still expected that Asiata and Malone will come back after the international break?
Yeah, it's the Wigan game. I think they're due back for, but whether Penne will make his appearance in this one, that'll
be interesting. From a combination perspective, they might want to have an extra week with him in training. We'll wait and see. It'd be nice to see him, though. But there you can see 8-2 since 2005. The last 5, though, 3-2. Lee won at Headingley last year. You'll remember the week before Wembley, 13 points to 6. But this season, Leeds got the bragging rights at the LSV in round number 4, 22 points to 16. Don't forget, that was 16-0 to Leeds. They absolutely blew Lee away in the first half, got a really good lead on, and then Lee started to come back. Steph, don't go back over old ground in terms of getting the violin out of things that happened that night that you weren't happy with. If anybody wants to know what Steph thought of that, go back to the archives and watch Super League Raw Weekly after round 4. Absentees, both teams expected to be the same as they were last round, but as Steph there quite rightly says, maybe, just maybe, the pasta man himself might be in. The attacks, very, very similar, but don't forget, Lee have played one less game. Lee a superior defence, but again, factor that in again that they have had one less game. So if you were going to round it up, maybe an extra 14 or so points there on the Leopards against, but it would still be a lot better than the Leeds Rhinos currently. 21-10 the Rhinos, 5-6 favourites, the Lee Leopards. We'll come to Steph last, like we always do, Greg, on when it's Lee. So over to you, Mr. Nixon. What's your thoughts?
This is an interesting one, and I'm not going to talk too much because I know Steph likes to wax ridicule over Lee. So I think, and he's been on his jollies. God bless him. Absolutely. I think Lee are going to win this 1-8. Sorry, Steph. And this will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and Rowan Smith will be gone before Leeds play again.
So what are you going score-wise, mate?
1-8, Lee.
1-8. So you're still seeing it quite tight then?
Quite close, quite tight.
Yeah, you are seeing it quite tight.
Yeah, but I think Lee will win, and it will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and Rowan Smith will go after this game.
Fair enough. Before we come to meet you, Mr. Sale, let's take a quick look in the chat. Craig 4th, Lee 9-17. Robert Hickson, Lee 1-8. Nicola Burton, would you want to expect anything less? 9-17 to the Leopards. I hope you're going to be with us tomorrow for the quiz, Miss Burton. Would not be the same without you. Dawn, Rhinos Unrest. Dawn, I've still not got your email address. You're missing out on tickets for the quiz. You need to send it me so I can give you your tickets. Laura Evans 1-8 to Leeds. Hey, Laura Evans, there you go. Bit of love for the Rhinos. Green going Lee 9-17. Paul Bourbon leads by 20. Dawn 1-8 Lee. That's Dawn Kirkby. Alan David Meadows. Beautiful. Hello to you, Alan. First time I've seen you in the chat. Lee by 10. Josh Grimes 9-17 to the Leopards. Pete Mason going Leeds 8. Lee 26. Always precise is Mr. Mason. Phil Hunt. Lee 18 plus. Yeah, so there you go. And Don Kirkby hoping that Smith keeps his job until after the Rovers play him. That's a big thing. Yeah. If you don't mind me saying. My view on this, I do think emotion's going to play a part. I think at the moment there's a lot of disjointed efforts in the Leeds team at this moment in time. I thought the tribute to Robert Hull FC, I thought Harry Newman and Cam Smith were going to lose it. I really did. So I've got real genuine concerns for some of these Leeds lads at Headingley on Friday where emotion's concerned. Because if you're on the brink at the MKM, imagine the atmosphere, the emotion at Headingley on Friday night. It's going to be so hard for them lads. It really is. Especially
if Rob's family are going to be there as well. I think in the same field and.
Well, I don't know if you saw it. I think I posted it on our Facebook feed that, Lindsay Burrow was out campaigning again for MND this weekend. So I think, again, the strength of the lady is incredible. So it would not surprise me to see Lindsay Burrow, the kids and the family.
I think we'll probably see a lot of his old teammates there as well.
I would agree. The likes of Sinfield and the likes. Yeah, do you know what, Greg? You're spot on. Like I said, and what we know about Leeds, we do it right. In this sport, we do it right. So that's going to be one hell of a tribute at Headingley on Friday night. I'm really looking forward to watching it, I have to say. I wish I wasn't watching it. Of course I don't. But it will be a fitting tribute to Rob. And like I say, from a playing perspective, I just question, can they use it as fuel? And I don't know if they've got that in them to use it as fuel. I think, for example, I go as far as to say this, I think that if you look at, for example, a Wigan team at the moment, a Saints team at the moment, probably only those two really. If this was Wigan at the weekend, I think because they've been there, done it, got the T-shirt and the culture of the club and the rest of it, I think somehow they would use it as fuel. I think Saints would be the same. But I question, have Leeds got it in them to use that emotion positively in an 80-minute game of rugby league? I really don't know. And do you know what? My heart goes out to him because no player who had a connection with Rob, who's wearing a Rhino shirt on Friday, will find that easy.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to be so hard. So because of that, I think that's a real problem for him. The form isn't great either. We know that. And Lee are on the rise. You go, can they back up? I mean, that's the question. Can they back up? They did this, didn't they, earlier in the season against Catalan? I'm just trying to remind myself, who did you play after that, Steph? You played Casford and you drew. 28 all. So, a big question here for Lee is, can you go and back it up? 2 great wins against Catalan. To only concede 4 against Catalan in 2 games, phenomenal. Can they go and back it up? And if they get, I think, a Lee Leopards team firing at 85%, I'll show some respect to Leeds. A Leeds team firing at 85% on Friday will be good enough. That's my view on this. I'm going Lee 9-17. Schofield's gone Lee 9-17. Joel's gone Lee 9-17. Steph, tell us about Leeds.
Well, I'll tell you about Lee first. Six weeks ago, you said to me Lee had to go on a run. And they've won 4, they've drawn 1, and they've lost 1. They're probably now in the top 3 form sides in Super League in terms of results. So that's where Lee are at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, this is probably one of the biggest occasions Lee are going to play this season. There's going to be 20,000 people at Headingley. It's going to be a massive, huge occasion. They've gone.
Steph, at the risk of interrupting you, I think this, for those Leeds players and for those Leeds players, will be a moment in their career that they will never experience again.
100%.
It's going to be that big of an occasion. This is something that they'll be telling the grandkids about, mate.
Yeah, and this is what I was going to get onto in terms of, I wanted to get Lee out of the way first in terms of where Lee are. We've took a lot of grief from people this season, and rightly so. We've underperformed. We've had a lot of injuries, but you can't use injuries as an excuse. But what we can say now is what I've been saying all season is that this Lee team have been very, very close. Even when we've lost, the only team that's absolutely put a score on us is Wigan. It's the only one. And they're still the only team since we came up last year that we've not beaten. So that's the monkey we've got to get our far back. And I think we will do that this season at some point. But this all pales into insignificance for me. This game is bigger than the result. And I don't care if we get beat by 40 in this one. I'm going to be at Headingley on Friday night, and I'm going to be there because of Rob Burrow. Not to watch Lee. Of course, I'll be there to watch Lee, but it's a moment thing. Yeah, I'm taking my daughter to go and probably witness something that is bigger and transcends the sport, and it's going to be incredibly emotional. I honestly do not give a hoot about the result. I don't care, because it's bigger than that. What it is for me is we've took nearly 2,000 people to Catalan, which was an amazing occasion. How privileged are Lee that we get to go and share this occasion with the Leeds fans, and for me, that's something very, very special. And when Lee came to Super League, these are moments we could have dreamed of, going playing Wigan away, going playing Warrington away, St Helens. But how privileged are we to get this, and how lucky are we in the awfulest of circumstances that we get to go and share this occasion with the Leeds fans.
Do you know, I'm not sure if Alex Sharp's taking the mick there or if it is 42,000. Does Henley hold 42,000?
No, it's 20,000. It's 20,000.
Yeah, he's taking the mick over the 42,000 Wigan tickets at Wembley. Okay, I had a feeling that's what he was doing there with the 42,000 jibe. But he's saying 21,000. No, mate, 21,000. Only 100 tickets in the South Stand are left, which is absolutely outstanding.
That's a great point. What someone just made, Robert, in the thing as well. The irony of it is that Rob's first ever game was that he watched Leeds, and he actually misunderstood. Like, he was a bit confused because they both sounded the same. So the irony that it's fell on this as well is not lost. But
so what score are you going, Chief?
Leeds 1-8.
Leeds. What you're going? Leeds 1-8.
No, well, no.
You're going Lee 1-8.
I was going Lee 1-8.
You're going Leeds.
I'm going to go Leeds 1-8.
Changing your mind at the 11th hour. Well, all I will say on this, and Peter Mason's giving you a big clap there, mate, which is a nice touch from Pete. There it is. There's your claps. Count them. But I'll tell you what's interesting. You know, I don't know who your God is, but if Leeds somehow was to win this game, I think somebody upstairs would be there on the field in spirit, driving them home. Let's put it that way.
Unless he wants Rowan Smith sacked.
Unless he's seen bigger picture. Greg. Anyway, but no.
Must be all trying to be.
Yeah, I feel, look, at the end of the day.
Steph, a brilliant sentiment, Steph, and we all agree with you. 100%,
absolutely, 100%. Outstanding. Right, there's quite a few people. I'm getting messages here. There's quite a few people that consider becoming a member is the best way of getting a free ticket to the quiz. Why pay for a quiz when you can become a member and come to the quiz for free every month? Happy days. So just so that you know how you can, this is how you can become a member. He says.
Are inviting you to become part of the fastest growing online community in Rugby League. Your contribution will enable us to continue to improve our current programs.
Is everybody having a bit of problems with that, Greg? It's a bit fuzzy my end.
It was like Max Headroom, mate.
So it wasn't good. But try again.
Are inviting you to become part of the fastest growing online community in Rugby League. Your contribution will enable us to continue to improve our current programmes and allow us to develop more so that you can enjoy Rugby League 7 days a week. Our 3 membership tiers provide everyone with an opportunity to create new friendships and experiences with like-minded Rugby League enthusiasts. 18th man membership. You will be supporting the work we do and contribute to our ongoing development. You will be entered into every prize draw as well as our monthly online quizzes. You will also have the opportunity of winning a season ticket by entering a team into the Super League Raw Mini Fantasy League. And you will also get a car window sticker to show that you're a part of this community. 6 again members. You will have increased entries into our prize draws and fantasy leagues. You will have increased shout-outs during Super League Raw every single week. You will have access to the Super League Raw WhatsApp group where you can talk with other members every single day. You will have 1 week advanced screening of our latest In Conversation With, and you will also have 3 invitations to the Final Whistle podcast recordings where you can have your say on the week's action. You will also be invited to a pre-game drink with Greg and I before your team's Warrington Wolves game at the Halliwell Jones. Team Talk membership. You get the maximum 3 entries into our prize draws and into our fantasy league. You will also have the opportunity to submit your question to the latest In Conversation guest, and you will be invited to every Final Whistle podcast where you will become a star of the show alongside the Super League Raw team. Membership starts from as little as £2.99 per month, so why not substitute a latte for 7 days of rugby league analysis and entertainment? Don't hesitate. Visit Patreon now and become a part of the fastest growing universal rugby league community online.
So there you go. That gives us the opportunity of nipping to the little boy's room and all the rest of it. But no, absolutely seriously, there you go. There they are. Go to our Patreon website, become a member, become a part of this community. What isn't mentioned there, and this is mentioned quite a lot, especially in the WhatsApp group, we're seeing photographs of people that have never met each other in their lives, that support different teams, meeting up before games, having a beer in the Friendship of Rugby League.
Yeah.
That's what Super League Raw has delivered as well. That's the bit that people aren't seeing an awful lot of, but we're seeing it on the WhatsApp group. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It is. You know, having a beer with fans before games. See, Steph. Having a beer with fans before games is, you know, we've met some fantastic people over the last 2 or 3 years, and I really want to grow that because it's really good.
It's marvellous, mate.
And it's what we're all about. We're not football fans. We're not. You know, we get on with other fans of other teams, and we have a beer with them, and we have a chat with them, we have a laugh with them, and that's what it's all about. That's what sport is for me.
The community we're building is literally second to none, and no more so than, you know, we hang on every the WhatsApp group and stuff like that. Some of the moments we've shared this season has been just outstanding, and I encourage everyone to, you know, get on board. And in 3 days' time, hopefully Matthew Sale will be.
Yes, Matty's birthday present is on the way. But yeah, no, absolutely, it's been absolutely wonderful. And as Debbie found out tonight, we're very fussy on who's in our community.
I mean, Robert upset me. He said we were breaking up. I didn't know what I'd done to upset him, but
no,
apparently it's a sangria. So I'll forgive you, Robert.
No, we're not breaking up. Well, let's get back into the predictions, and let's now go to the MKM Stadium and look at those odds. I think they're a lot shorter than they would have been a few weeks ago. As you see, the head-to-head since 1998 it is Warrington, 36-24, and the last four out of the last five have gone the way of Warrington. But who can forget Magic Weekend 23, 30 points to 18, the Josh Griffin hat-trick? You MKM Hulk FC fans will be delighted to remember that one. Of course, this year they have faced each other twice, Warrington beating them twice at the Halliwell Jones. Who can forget the first game in round two, the New Brown sending off controversy, 36 points to 10. And of course, the Josh Fulis Masterclass in round 10, 20 of the 24 points went the way of Josh with a 24.6 win for the Warrington Wolves. So let's see. No word on any ins and outs to their squad. Probably more out than ins. I don't expect many to return this week. Hopefully they've had a clean bill of health from the Leeds Rhinos game for them. As for the Warrington Wolves, bad news. No Williams, no Fitzgibbon, and no Pulis. That is bad news for Warrington. They will remain out until after the international break. As you can see, Warrington were doing quite well, but they've lost the last two, as well as the Challenge Cup final. So that's 3 on the bounce. Like I say, big moments these for Sam Burgess. 4th plays 11th. Attack, defence, again, very heavily weighted in the Warrington Wolves' favour. But of course, form is temporary, class is permanent, or is class not permanent and form isn't temporary? I don't know. This is going to be really interesting indeed. Come to Greg last. Steph, will come to you first. This is a big moment, I think, for Warrington. I said they were at the crossroads in the early section of tonight's show when we were talking about the Warrington Wolves. I think they need to win this, or else, quite frankly, 2 weeks is a long time without a game. And we know that the media will probably have a field day. They build people up to pull them down. It's got a lot of positive press, Sam Burgess. If he doesn't win this, that could just turn a little.
I 100% agree. And you've said to me a few times this season, Lee need to win this. Warrington 100% need to win this. You know, this is a huge game for Warrington now. You know, obviously the difference in the sides in terms of league tables massive, but you know, Hull have had a great result there against Leeds. You know, and played really well. You know, they're starting to get a bit of confidence back. You know, Warrington, you know, the form is not the best at the moment. So if Warrington want to have ambitions of being a top 4 side, you know, a home playoff side, this is 100% a must-win game for me. I do think that even with the players that Warrington have got out, you've got the players to win it. I do think it's going to be a bit of a closer game than what people think. Like I say, I think Hull are playing pretty decent rugby at the moment. But I have gone Warrington 9-17. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit closer than that.
9-17 the wire, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Greg, I'm going to come to you, mate. Are you concerned? And Graham Parrish is saying it. Yeah, Jed Cartwright is expected to make his debut. Apologies, forgot about that one. You're quite right. Jed Cartwright, Billy Steed as well is on the screen as well there, saying exactly the same thing. So that's good news for Hull FC. Go on, Greg. Your thoughts?
Oh, this is a difficult one. 4 or 5 weeks ago, I'd have had Warrington 18 plus. And as Steph says, this is. You know, I had a few pelters thrown at me when I said the London game early doors would tell us where Warrington were. And that wasn't what that Warrington would lose to London. It was just the performance they put in. And this is another one of those games which will tell us what kind of Warrington team we have, whether we've learned, whether we've progressed, whether we're a different team than we have been under the last couple of head coaches. And it was I have been back into this one, a Hull win, a Warrington win, a Hull win. We've got a lot of influential players out, and I would still, even though those players were out, I would still leave Matt Duffy out this week and put Taylor Ray in. I'll put Aaron Lindop on the wing. I'll bring Lindop in instead of Wrench and put Ty into the centres. I've got to be loyal, and I've got to say Warrington 9-17. But I would not be surprised after that performance against Hull and the players that are coming in and the young players that Hull have brought through and the fact they're settled, that I would not be surprised if Hull won, but I've got to go Warrington 9-17.
Well, there you go. And for those of you who have just joined us, yes, Greg did mention London. Welcome to the Rocky Horror Picture Show with Greg Nixon as Richard O'Brien. Let's do the time warp. We're all the way back to London Broncos at home. Unbelievable. Only here at Super League Raw. Anyway.
What you're on about me hair?
As well. Anyway, yeah, so let's get into Stenny. Let's get into the chat. FC 1-8, Gary Schofield. Joel's going wire 1-8. I'm going wire 9-17. Let's give some shout outs to John Wilkinson, wire 12 plus. Craig Rippey, Super League Raw member, wire 18 plus. Craig Forth, wire by 12, become a Super League Raw member. Craig. Robert Hickson, wire 1-8. Laura Evans, wire 1-8. Dawn Kirby, wire 9-17. Peter Mason wanting to get a candle out with you, Steph, on the 5th for a beer at the Brick. There's an invitation not to be missed in the chat. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Only where we got Jeff Cartwright's playing, Nicola Burton would 9-17.
John Costello.
John Costello, 1-14 wire win. Graham Parrish also going FC by 12. It's going to be interesting.
I think that has got potential to be game of the week as well as the league game.
There's a lot riding on it. I think those two games, there is a lot riding on both of them. I would agree with that. I really, really would.
I think those two are the closest two games to call, if I'm being honest.
Well, let's just throw a little spanner into the works, shall we? Let's go to Perpignan as we go to the Dragons against the Giants now, ladies and gentlemen. This is an interesting little tickle, isn't it? The Dragons are 25-19 in the favour of the Giants since 2006. But look at that. The last 5, 4-1 to the Huddersfield Giants. At the moment, they're both in probably similar form, very, very close in the table. Not an awful lot separating them in the for and against. The defence stronger at the Dragons. Dragons go into this as favourite. The last win for the Dragons against the Huddersfield Giants was in round 20 of 2022 season, and they only won by a point, 13 points to 12. In the last 10 meetings, in all comps, it's 7-3 the Giants. Who can forget the Challenge Cup this year? 34-6 win in Perpignan by Huddersfield Giants. The last 5 games, the average winning margin between these two has been 9. Wow, what a game this could be. Catalan's no new injury concerns have been released, albeit we do understand that Luke Yates has been added to the sideline. That's a big blow for Huddersfield. Cudjoe also not expected to feature in this. But yeah, those of you out there who probably would be thinking, probably Catalan this, Huddersfield have got a phenomenal record against the Catalan Dragons. So with that lovely little curveball coming in, get your bat out. Let's have a strike. Where are you going? Steph, we'll come to you first.
I think, like when I've said to people that the playoffs is 100% wide open, then this is why it is. Because if you look at these two teams, both playoff contenders at the moment, I've got 1 win in 5 between them both. You know, it's they've just gone completely off a cliff, both of them, in terms of form. So that's why, and it's brilliant for the competition. Absolutely brilliant for the competition in terms of making the second half of the season more exciting. In terms of this game, you know, it could 100% go either way, couldn't it? You know, who knows what Huddersfield team are going to turn up? They've already gone there this season. It was the Challenge Cup, wasn't it, where they put a real big score on Catalan. So who knows? I think what I would say is that having just been there, Catalan's defensive display was great. You know, they defended against us really, really well. So I think they will nullify Huddersfield in that respect. And it's more for me about how much Catalan can come to the fore in terms of attack. I think McNamara, looking at the local press in my broken French thingy in the newspapers the other day, we're having a bit of a go at McNamara. So I do see a bit of a reaction coming here, and I think they have to put a performance in. So I do apologise to my Huddersfield friends, but I have gone Catalan 9-17. I think there is going to be a bit of a reaction from them this weekend, and it's also going to be really, really hot as well, which also plays. We were quite lucky this weekend in terms of on Saturday it was quite overcast and it wasn't as hot as it can be over there. I do believe the weather is going to be a bit scorchio this weekend, which will play definitely into Catalan's hands. That's why I've gone 9-17 Catalan.
Good man. Well, Reggie, as Steph quite rightly says there around the Catalan attacking prowess this season. Not since James have we seen anything as blunt as Catalan at the moment, mate. Your thoughts?
I'm going to have my Huddersfield friends dancing in the streets because I've gone for Catalan 18+.
Never been, mate. If that, I tell you what, mate. In fact, actually, Catalan, that's Saturday. We're out Saturday. We're out. We'll be watching that game together. 18+. Mate, I will be the first to bite you a beer if they beat Huddersfield by 18+.
Fans are now arranging street parties as we speak for Saturday.
Where's my invite? I didn't know you were going out, was it?
I mentioned it to you. Don't stay there. I mentioned it to you. And you said because of the bank balance with all your trips, Judith.
Vaulting abroad. So.
Yeah, Judith was down there. Mate, if you want to come, you can come.
I'll be there.
You and Mrs. Sale, mate, more than invited to come and enjoy the hospitality.
You did. I'll tell that back. You did invite.
I know I did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did mention it to you. Don't give me that. Anyway, okay. So in the chat, let's have a look at this now. Where are we? Dawn Kirby's gone Huddersfield 1-away. Giants do well against the Dragons. Absolutely, Dawn. We've just seen that. Dawn Baker. Craig Forth, Dragons 1-away. Huddersfield 9-17. Laura Evans. Peter Mason, as always. 30 points to 4. He's going with you, Greg. He's going with you. Nicola Burnwood, 9-17. The Catalan Dragons. Will Abdul play, says Don Kirby. You know what? I couldn't believe he didn't play against Lee. Couldn't believe it. Because Farge, for me, if you're going to drop either of them, Farge, for me, has offered nothing all year. I've just got to say it. He's offered nothing. You're right. But at least Abdul's got a kicking game. At least he can influence a game. I've not seen any influence from Farge as he gets man of the match on Saturday. But anyway, that's another story. But I'm going to go Catalan 1-8. And the reason I'm going Catalan 1-8 is Huddersfield are also in pretty poor form. But I'm going to respect Huddersfield's form. Huddersfield's form has been pretty good against Catalan, so I'm going to respect that. But I'm going to go Catalan with the masses 1-8.
I also think Huddersfield, there's a few things going on behind the scenes as well with Huddersfield that maybe they've not had in the past. So possibly. Well, we know about the stadium. I mean, that's looming large, isn't it? I saw an article on that it's going to be advantage Huddersfield Town, isn't it? So that's going to be interesting long term. It was always going to be.
Of course it was. I mean, of course it was. And, that's going to be an interesting time for our Huddersfield Giants faithful. Let's show. I mean, and I think as long as Ken Davey, God bless him, is with us, I don't foresee any issues. But I do think there will come a day where those relations aren't there. I think Ken's a big pull. I think a lot of people got a lot of respect for Ken Davey, and rightly so. I don't see anything happening with Ken Davey at the helm, but if that was to change for any reason, that could be interesting. I hope not, but it could be very interesting. Right,
as long as Huddersfield get a stadium,
can't afford one.
That can house Rugby League and ensure they stay in Super League. That might be beneficial, a smaller stadium.
Really great.
But they need a Huddersfield sports village. They need
do.
a 12,000 LSV.
Yeah.
But back to matters on the field, gentlemen. If the Giants were to turn over the Dragons, they would only be 2 points off the Dragons, and that would tighten it up very much in the middle. Probably wouldn't do you any harm either, I think, that game, Steph. That's one of those where you win either way, really, is what I would say on that one as a Lee Leopards fan. The final game of the weekend will see the Salford Red Devils take on Saints. Don't count out Salford. It'd be very foolish to count them out, such as the way they play. But look at that. Since 97, 48-10 advantage, St. Helens. Wow. But 3-2 the last 5 meetings. As you can see there, Salford in great form. That with Saints is wrong. I do apologise. Don't know what's happened there. When you're rushing, putting things together, these little slip-ups happen. But let me just quickly work this one out. They have won. Hang on a minute. Oh, no, that's wrong. They've won the last 4. They've won the last 4. They lost the 5th one. So it's 1 loss, 4 wins on the spin. Salford's is correct. Right. The advantage on the scoring goes with Saints. No surprises there. And, of course, the defence goes the way of Saints as well. 2-5 on Saints. Fair play. 21-10, the Red Devils, which is interesting. Since 2012, though, at the Salford Community Stadium, it's 8-4. So when you look at 48-10, you're thinking big advantage Saints. But no, the last 12 meetings at the Salford Community, it's 8-4 to Saints. That narrows it a little bit. 2024, who can forget the beautiful Tim Lafay offload to Dion Cross at the Totally Wicked Stadium. One of the moments of the season. Anyway, 24 points to 20, a win for the Salford Red Devils at the Totally Wicked. Marvellous. Salford's last win against Saints. Before that was round 21 in 2022, 44 points to 12. But of course, Tommy Makinson has been added to the injury list for Saints. So that's interesting as well. Right. What's our thoughts on this one? Like I say, don't count Salford out in the recent history, the recent past. They have been having a slightly better run against the Saints. And like I say, Tim Lafay, what a pass. Greg, come on, join in the beauty, the glory to Mr. Lafay. Remember that try as you're talking. It'll put a bit into
you do not have to encourage me to wax ridicule about Mr. Lafay. I love the man. A couple of seasons ago, I actually married one of his tries, if you remember. Those 2 centres for Saints are magnificent. McDonald and Lafay, absolutely superb. They would walk, I don't care what you say, they would walk into any Super League team, Lafay, McDonald. But having said that, and Salford did a job on Warrington last weekend, I just think Saints will have the edge. I really do. I think Saints should take a lot of fans down there. I'm even considering going myself to watch it because it's only down the road. But I as well as Salford played against us, I don't think Saints, they put 50 past London. I don't really think they got out of second gear. I think they got a lot more to offer, and I'm going to go 9-17 Saints. I think it will be close, but I think Saints will pull away in the last 20 minutes, 9-17.
Well, Billy there's thrown a right one in. He seems to think that both Ash Hanley and Harry Newman are going to be out for Leeds. That's good news for you, Steph. Does that change your prediction? No, we all went Lee, I think. Maybe Steph. Steph, Leeds 1-8. No Newman, no Hanley.
Results are relevant in that game for me.
Fair enough. You're going to leave it as it is. Good man. So let's move over then. Tell us about Salford Saints. Steph, how do you see that?
I think this is probably the game of the week for me. I think there's two really, really informed sides, both capable of putting it right up there with the best in Super League for me. So, Salford have obviously got home advantage, but Saints have really come into their own, like a bit under the radar a little bit for me. Sitting quite happily there in first place. So it's got the potential to be an absolute cracker, and barring any official sending offs or stuff like that, I do see it as a Saints win. But I think it could be an absolute cracker. I can't wait to watch this game, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be an absolute belter. But I have gone Saints 9-17. I just think they've got the better squad. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was flipped on its head.
Oh, Dawn Baker, aerial assault by Sneepaps. Love it, Dawn. Didn't do aerial, did we? Oh, Dawn. Lenore. Beautiful stuff. Outstanding. Well done. Bit of more soap powder, eh? But other soap powders are available on the market.
We just got Aldi because we can't afford.
Yeah, with all your travelling, I bet you can.
Well, anyway, Steph, every little helps.
Every little helps, absolutely.
That's
Anyway.
definitely Tesco. Not little.
Right, I'm going Saints 9-17.
Like that one.
I'm going Saints 9-17. Gary Schofield's gone Saints 1-8. Joel has gone Saints 1-8. Like I say, fans forum, I'll collate those. I'll put them out well in advance of Thursday's game. It is quiz night tomorrow night. Whatever you do, you don't want to miss that. If you haven't got your tickets, go and get your tickets. £2.50, chance of £50 worth of England Rugby League merchandise ahead of the international against France and ahead, of course, of the 2-game series against Tonga at the end of the season. Get your merch as part of that. But hey, forget the merch. As Steph says, it's all about the taking part and being a part of the community. You'll have a great night. Go and secure your tickets now. We'd love to have your company. Another Super League Royal Weekly has come and it has gone. Great fixtures this weekend. Great fixtures. Well worth your time. Like I've said, I'm going to say this probably at the end of every single Super League Raw from now until the end of the season. We need to grow the TV audience, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so for any new viewer, this is how you do it. This is how you can play your part in telling Sky how great our beautiful game is. Record every game. Record every game. And even if you don't want to watch before you go to work, press play. That's all you got to do. Just press play. And they'll think, oh, another person's watched 80 minutes of rugby league. Another person's watched 80 minutes of rugby league. And when the negotiation comes round next time, all that hard work that we as a community do makes us put a couple of extra million in the coffers for a 14-team comp.
It will help your team's IMG score as well. Because
Exactly.
The viewing figures do count in terms of the IMG score. So that, as well as share all your social media for your club as well, because that helps your IMG score as well.
And it would be wrong not to allow Johnny's moment in the sun, as there's the way to do it. Hey, go on, John. You know it makes sense. Incredible. Right, look, great night. Really enjoyed it. It's been a fantastic chat. We hope anybody who's joined us for the first time, go and check out the memberships. Come to the quiz night tomorrow night. We hope you've enjoyed Super League Raw Weekly. Nobody does it better than Super League Raw. We are passionate about this game. It comes through your screen, doesn't it? It really, you can feel it, folks. Feel it. Go on. Feel it. Feel the aura. That's how much we love it. We love this game of rugby league. Forget England on Thursday night. Do what Dawn's going to do. Watch rugby league instead. Good girl, Dawn. That's what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next Tuesday night live, 8 p.m. for Super League Raw Weekly across our social media channels. If you've enjoyed it that much, do you want to listen to it again on the car on the way to work? This will be available for you to download as a podcast from first thing in the morning. And don't forget, if you haven't listened to the other podcast, The Final Whistle, go and listen to that. See what we had to say about round number 14 and maybe become a part of that by becoming a Team Talk member and get your invite. Steph has got his hand up like a good child. Over to you.
Just before we go, I do want to just say, the Lee fans this weekend have been an absolute credit to Rugby League. To take that many supporters to Perpignan and to be impeccably behaved, and also to the Catalan fans that we met over there as well. You were an absolute credit to the club and also to the sport of rugby league. So I just want to make that point because it's not an easy thing to take that many people over there on a boozy weekend to Catalan and to be absolutely impeccable behaved. So well done to the Leeds fans, and you did the sport proud this weekend.
Well done, guys.
What a treat for people in Perpignan. They've never seen so many leopards in one place in all their lives. You know what I mean? It was like a nature reserve. Incredible stuff.
It was like a Bet Lynch convention.
It was, yeah, good old Bet. Absolutely. 100%. Julie Goodyear, if you're watching, good evening. Anyway, right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for another week of Super League Raw Weekly. As always, we're going to go out with the top performers after 14 rounds of Super League. Please come to the quiz tomorrow night. Come and join the community. You'll have an absolute belting, cracking laugh, and you might walk away with a grand prize. We'll be back next week. Don't forget the podcast. Make sure you download them. Don't forget to record all the Rugby League. Get to a match if you can. Gentlemen, it's over now.
Weekly.
Bye for now.
Absolute pleasure, guys. See you soon.
Here are your top performers after 14 rounds of the Betfred Super League. Still leading the try-scoring chart after his brace at the weekend is Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors with 15. The most try assists have come from 9 levels of Hull KR with 16. Whilst the most metres made continues to be Matt Duffy of the Warrington Wolves with 2,541. Nobody tackle bust like Tim Lafay in Super League. He's got 118 and counting. Whilst the most clean breaks have come from Jack Wellesby and Liam Marshall with 15. The most offloads have come from Hakeem Maludi of the London Broncos with 31. And we have a new hard meter maker of Super League, Reece Martin, 1,491 for the Leeds Rhinos. The most tackles has also been made by a Leeds Rhinos player, Cameron Smith, with 557. Whilst the best goal kicker thus far in Super League continues to be Mark Sneed with 48, although Mark Percival is just 2 behind on 46. These were your top performers after 14 rounds of the Betfred Super League.